guys and gals? Never here from Drake Wayne Gaming. And something on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of What It Feels Like. So let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm saying you were up, and let's go. Alrighty. He blushes, half-heartedly pushing me away. Oh yeah, we're on the next update, by the way. You're one to talk. You're practically getting on top of me. Are you finally warming up to me, Russo? Did my charm work? Maybe, or maybe this is a dream too. I'm doing exactly what you want of me. You really want to know about it, don't you? I'm dying to know, like, how did it feel when I was railing you? In one quick motion, he spins us and pins me against the wall nearby, leering over me with those glowing red eyes. Let's get one thing straight, Russo. I was the one topping. I shudder, trying to keep my composure. Were you now? Hard to believe. You're getting a bit too cocky for my liking. He leans in and starts whispering directly against my ear, his hands rubbing up and down my waist as he purrs his story. You really want to know? Fine. You came over to my place, dressed in that cute punk outfit you wore the other day. You walked right into my room, took off everything but the leash, and got on all fours right on my bed. Little tail was wagging, looking back at me, begging for it, whining like a little bitch. His hands trail up my body, and he grabs my chin, rubbing his thumb across my bottom lip. That can't be right. You're so reserved, so sweet and innocent. A guy like you couldn't possibly be that dirty. So I knew it was a dream, and you want to know something else, Russo? He pulls his face out of my ear and looks me right in the eye, his mouth inches, centimeters away from my lips. I fucked you anyway. And that was my dream. See, told you it wasn't a funny story. I pull him back into me, grabbing his vest and making him lean back to the distance he was before. So, if right now was a dream, what would you want to do with me? I'd want to kiss you, just like I did the night of the party. Want to play pretend, then? We've gotten pretty good at playing pretend. I'm gonna start to think you're liking it. Is that a yes or no? It's a yes. And without another word, he leans in and kisses me. It's different this time. The liquor and high of the party aren't here tonight. It's quiet, empty, sober. That makes it feel twice as good. I'm not entirely sure what made me become so bold, but the more he kisses me, the more I realize I actually don't care. His tongue feels hot, wet, firm, and it tastes a lot like cherries. Maybe this is what his kisses taste like when they're not drowned in vodka. And speaking of alcohol, the lack of it is apparent the way he kisses me tonight. If I thought he was meticulous then, he must be completely focused now. His hands cup either side of my face, and the sloppiness I felt back then is nowhere to be found now. It's soft, deliberate, every move of his tongue against my own seemingly calculated to make me feel as good as I possibly can. And it's working. That hunger, that feeling of never wanting the kiss to end, it comes at me at full force, and my grip on his vest tightens to the point it makes my fingers numb. He's everything to me right now. If I could stay like this with him, I'd be so happy. I'd be... The incessant buzz on his pocket makes a stop and freeze in the act, and slowly he pulls his lips away from me, licking them and clearing his throat. Like, no? Answer it. It could be important. Taking a step back, he pulls his phone out of his pocket and stares at it for a good moment. I can't tell exactly who the caller is, but finally he presses the button to accept the call and presses the phone to his ear. Hello? Hey, calm down. What's wrong? I'm not home right now, but... He looks at me for a second. No. Yeah, you can come over. Just let me know when you're there. Sure thing, I'll see you. He hangs up the call and a look of guilt spreads across his face as he rubs the back of his neck, now avoiding all eye contact with me. That was Dahlia. Is she okay? She's fine. She's just upset she bombed a test and wants to come over. That familiar feeling of jealousy bubbles up in my stomach, but this time I can't seem to swallow it down no matter how hard I try. Oh. Mylo, I'm really sorry. It's fine. Go ahead. But you... I can walk home by myself. You already said she can come over, right? You shouldn't keep her waiting. I'll make it up to you. You have nothing to make up to me, Baxter. This is part of the plan, isn't it? We got carried away again, just like at the party. So let's learn from our mistakes, not let each other get in the way of our goals. Go, and don't worry about me. I tried my best to make my tone sound neutral, almost nonchalant, but it ends up coming out far colder than I meant to. The guilt on his face only deepens, and he just stands there for another moment, looking at me, searching for something. But this time I don't give him time to find it. Good night, Bax. Not waiting for him to say another word, I slip away and start walking the opposite direction, where I know home is. Alone. Just like every other night. The night is stupidly cold now, and I hug myself for some semblance of warmth, walking as quick as I can without actually running, which just makes me breathe hard and fill my lungs with the icy air around me. It's stupid that I'm this upset about it, right? Or maybe I'm the stupid one for even ever getting attached to him. This whole plan's stupid. So stupid. I blink back more tears, swallowing that awful lump in my throat as best as I can, trying not to cry. Not tonight. It's not even his fault. He's got it right. I'm the one who's a mess. Just because Jacob doesn't love me doesn't mean Dahlia won't love Baxter. I kneel down, covering my eyes, and just let everything out. I sob in the middle of the cold sidewalk, alone, under the full moon's bright yellow glow, and I realize just how much of a horrible person I am. Because for a second there, I had hoped Dahlia would never love Baxter back. I don't know how long the walk back home was, but my throat feels dry and my legs feel shaky by the time I go in through the front door. To my surprise, though, my mom is still awake, sitting in the sofa and watching some show about doctors that fuck each other in the hospital. She notices me walking in and gives me a bit of a tired smile. That's every medical drama. Hey, hun. There's dinner in the kitchen if you want some. Thanks, Mom. Is everything okay? Mom, can we talk for a second? Flabbergasted, she pauses the show and sits up straight, making room for me on the couch as I make my way towards her. Of course, sweetheart. What is it? What's on your mind? How did you know that you were in love with Dad, that he was the right person for you? Huh. Where's this coming from, honey? Is everything okay with you and Baxter? Yeah, I just want to know if it's the right thing to do to be with him. Well, Mylo, honestly, I didn't know. Huh? Your dad and I dated for a while, but for the first few months, I didn't really think it was love. He says he felt it from the moment he saw me. But I think he's full of you-know-what. But eventually, one day, while we were out for coffee, it sort of just clicked in that moment. That I loved him. She smiles softly at the memory, a small blush on her face. So it was like an epiphany? I guess you can say that. But it wasn't the type of epiphany where you're surprised by the answer. Falling in love, it isn't something that happens in an instant. It's slow and very sneaky. The epiphany isn't the moment you fall in love. I don't think that exists. The epiphany is realizing that you've been in love with them for a while now. She runs her fingers through the back of my ear, a soothing motherly touch that makes me want to cry all over again. You're young, Mylo. It's normal to have doubts about who you're with. If it'll last. If they're the one. You think the first person you fall in love with will be the love of your life, but sometimes it doesn't happen, and you know what? That's fine. Because you know what's so beautiful about us, as people? Is that we can love again. Our hearts break, but they mend. We cry, but the tears always dry up eventually. And then you meet someone new, someone you never expected could change you the way they did. And you end up loving them more than you ever loved whoever came before them. I slowly fall onto her chest, and she hugs me tightly against her, cradling me like a child. Mom? Yes, honey? Do you ever think you made the wrong choice with Dad? No. I think, as cliche as it sounds, love is the kind of thing that when you know it's right, you just know. Because they feel like home to you. Like being apart from them feels like holding in air, and seeing them again feels like breathing again. The feeling that even if you won the lottery tomorrow and you could get anyone you wanted, you'd still choose them. That is what love feels like to me. It was a midnight not too different from this one. The band had gone to a party, to a club near the center of town, and thanks to some connections, Wyatt got Lizzie and I fake IDs so we could go in. It was a relatively normal night, until it wasn't. Jacob had disappeared halfway through, and I, with my big fat crush, went looking for him, and lo and behold, drunk in the back alleyway of the bar, there he sat, head on his knees, his arms covering his face. "Jacob, what are you doing back here? The others are worried sick." He drunkenly looked up at me, and that's when I saw it, tears streaming down his face, his eyes bloodshot red. It was the only time I've ever seen him cry. "Oh, no, Jacob, what happened?" I sat down next to him, the smell of beer emanating from him like an aura, and he looked at me for a long, unflinching minute. Raina left. Raina, his girlfriend at the time. I both hated her and wanted to be her for several reasons. Left where? To London, or Europe. I don't fucking know, she just did. London is in Europe. She went to some hotshot college and decided she couldn't do long distance. So it's over. Oh, Jacob, I'm so sorry. I hated seeing him like that. So torn up, so sad. I grabbed onto his arm, trying to soothe him. I had no idea the innocent gesture would be the death of me. I can't believe she wouldn't at least try to be with you. You're such a great guy. I'm sorry. He looked down at my hand, then back up at me. Yep, that's a bounce back. And then, he kissed me. My first kiss was stolen by the man of my dreams, next to a dumpster behind a cheap, loud club. It tasted like tears, like sadness and loneliness and desperation all mixed into one, and I had no idea if it was his or mine. I was dumbfounded. I had no idea what to do, how to kiss him back, whether I should or not. But that was the spark that set everything in motion. The first time he kissed me, but definitely not the last. The moment I felt like all those months of pining over him finally paid off, in this drunk, exciting moment. This was my epiphany, the moment I fell in love with him. But Mama said epiphanies like that don't exist, and I'm starting to believe her. Memory after memory floods my mind of Jacob and our moments together. Have they always been tainted blue? Has the sun ever shined on us, even for 1 second? I called it love so easily because I'd never had a basis for what love really feels like. I convinced myself over and over again that he was the love of my life, that every obstacle was a test I was too stupid to pass and overcome. But sitting in my bedroom, looking up at the ceiling, reality hits me, like the end of some movie I might have seen before. I was never in love with Jacob. He was never in love with me. The week that follows is hectic. Phone calls to the recording studio, mock-ups for the album cover and track list, begging my parents to let me stay in Chicago overnight. It all overwhelms me to the point of ignoring a lot of the previous problems plaguing my mind, namely, Jacob and Baxter. Sort of like Katniss Everdeen, too busy with the rebellion to choose either Gale or Peeta, except it's a record deal instead of a war and we're all guys. In any case, both of them take a backseat in priorities of my attention, and although this doesn't affect my relationship with Jacob in any way, considering we're not even speaking to each other anyways, it does put a dark cloud over Baxter and me. The awkwardness of leaving each other in such weird terms that Monday night persists throughout the entire week, and although nothing in our routine really changes, it seems like I'm seeing him less and less. It does make me a little sad that we're drifting apart like this, but it was bound to happen eventually. Besides, I have bigger fish to fry. Alright, y'all, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout-out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all if I do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks to our 3 gold tier patrons, Zeke, Toby, and Blue Wolf Alpha. Y'all are awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to Ultimate Tier. Anyway, if you want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our Safe for Work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!